Trying with a federation, the whole thing end in confusion. Carry come and then character, but somehow a smelling disaster. Mr. West Indian politician, I mean you went to big institution. So how come you can't unite 7 million? When a West Indian unity, I know it's very easy. If you only rap to your people and tell them like me, them is one race.
Caribbean man,
from the same place.
Caribbean man,
that make the same trip.
Caribbean man,
on the same ship.
Caribbean man.
So we must push one common intention. It's for a better life in the region. For me woman and we children. This must be the ambition of
the Caribbean man, the Caribbean man, the Caribbean man.
Valley, how did you react to that song when Stalin first played it for you, first sang it to you?
And let me tell you, when Stalin sang that song, we were almost living together. When I say living together, like I was living by him, I was like, in this time, like I was more in south than in tongue. Because, you know, the relationship started to get very tight, and then we was really into something. Because the same guy who was doing the music with Rodney was for me and Stalin, and you know, it was like a family. That's the same year I disturbed Zimbabwe. So it was two dynamite coming from, you understand?
Right.
So it bring us a little closer together. So every day I used to leave my wife in tongue. My Stalin, you know, because you know how it was, you know. And I say, boy, you have a real gem here, you know. And I could remember vaguely when a guy named Graham, Clive Graham, was going to America with the tapes. That time he still had tapes that he used to, because there's vinyl record you got in them times there. Right. And I could remember Stalin telling him, hey boy, careful with them tapes because you have money in your hand. It kicks it, you know, but not realizing that, I mean, it would have, you know, come out to be this gem of two recordings. Stay Up Zimbabwe and the Caribbean Man. So, you know, that's one of the tunes and one of the memories that I will always cherish, because it was the starting, it was the beginning of something, you know, that, well, you see how it related to Stalin. It was a crime.
Right.
You know?
You spoke about Stalin warning the fella to be careful with the tapes.
Careful with that tape, Clive. Careful with that tape. And you know, and one thing about Stalin, he's a very humorous fellow in a serious way, you know. If you get to know Stalin, he have it rolling with laugh, you know.
Right, that's what I was going to ask about his sense of humor. He sounds like a funny fella.
Every sense of humor. But he was an MC, you know. Stalin is the man who introduced me on stage as the People's Calypsonian first, you know, on a stage. And his humor on stage, I thought it was would have overcome his performance as a calypsonian. But then seriously, he told me, very seriously, this is not no joke. He said, Valley boy, I want to done with this MC thing and concentrate more on my singing, you know. Because somehow or the other, I feel I could do a better job singing. And he was putting in too much emphasis and energies on the master ceremonies program. Okay. And all of a sudden, one crisis season, he's just done with that. But Stalin was one of the best MCs in Trinidad, after Lord Melody, the best MC in Trinidad and Tobago.
We come into that a little bit later. I have a segment specifically to talk about that. I know you use the man to talk to about that.
Yes.
Don't worry, don't worry. Yes. Dr. Regis, when Stalin sang Caribbean Man in '79, how did people react it, and what did you make of it when you first heard it?
Actually, I heard it at Squibby's house before the season. Yeah, because remember, Squibby, I mean, I have to say this, and in all fairness to the record, Squibby advised him to change some of the lines, you know. He did. Yeah, Squibby said, no, don't sing that. And Leroy sang it, the lines anyway, and then, I mean, this whole controversy blew up. So I heard it then in that informal setting on Fairrow Avenue. And when Leroy sang that song, remember it's part of a tandem too. Kovali, you are talking about Zimbabwe, but you also sang Madonna Soca Fad. So it's a tandem of songs. I think that that was irresistible. I mean, the lineup in 1979 was phenomenal. I mean, if you go back to that show, who was there? Who sang what? The Road March winner was also on that show.
Who's the Road March winner?
Posa singing Atashi, right?
Okay.
Yeah, he was there. I mean, people have forgotten this. But it was a formidable lineup. I mean, Sparrow was not there, Kitsch had opted out and so on. Rather had not yet emerged. But the people who were there and the songs, right? So I think that what Leroy did here was to create this energy, you know, and I mean, if Ali is saying that was a climb, right? There's something that put him over the top then, because he had been there, I mean, he had been a major calypsonian since the early 70s, let's say so. Okay, there was this period when these young singers had simply taken over, but he didn't get to the next level, and in 79 that happened. And I think that when we look back now at his career, his long and distinguished career, we need to go back at that 79 moment, right, when he did his first album too, you know, in that year. The album, so we keep saying now, I mean, I suppose I'm being very pedantic here. We keep saying Caribbean Man. The song is actually named Caribbean Unity, you know.
Oh, true, very true, yeah. I guess that punchline, I guess, stands out so much. Yeah.
The Caribbean Man.
The album actually is named To the Caribbean Man. He created a kind of an envelope thing, right, with the Rasta colors, and this envelope is addressed to the Caribbean Man.
Okay.
That's a record jacket.
That's the record jacket, right?
Envelope.
But the song is Caribbean Unity, which we, you know, it was in fact what you might call a climatic moment for Leroy, right? I mean, in terms of getting there. So then I think he became established. He became established as an international act.
Yeah, that's his own
Climb right up, yeah.
Sorry to cut the talk here. We have to take a quick break. We're coming back to Caribbean Unity, not Caribbean Man, in a little bit. Stay tuned. This is Roots Rock Soca.
Yeah.